grounded, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
I know we cannot talk about
What's
what
that?
we should not talk about.
What?
Our bad nights with our baseball teams. Holy moly.
What do you? Oh,
Rangers lose 12-0.
18-1.
18-1. Not a good night.
the Brew Crew. What is up with the Brew Crew?
Rangers debuted a new. They brought up a new pitcher.
And immediately sent him back down.
They made
Welcome to the big leagues, son.
Yeah, they made a big deal about it, and then that happened.
Yeah, 12-0. I'd seen that Atlanta.
Oh, they started hot. They didn't.
They
did
hit
not stop.
5 2-run home runs.
Yeah, they
that's only been done like 6 times in the
Yeah.
history of baseball.
Poor kid.
Skinny.
Bradford's his name.
Bradford.
5 innings of work. 6 RA. Ugh. Maybe pick someone else to move up.
How about a 10-run 8th given up by the Brew Crew? I mean, it's not like it was already 8-1, but then you go ahead and give up 10.
What's crazy is
Cardinals have been terrible.
Rangers got 10 hits to Atlanta's 12, but they cannot play to run. I wonder how many were left on.
A ton.
A ton. Yeah.
Welcome to the Skinny on Sports. Jared and I were
11.
visiting. 11 guys left on
11
base.
guys left on base. My goodness.
Seems like what we saw last Friday.
Little bit.
Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. ACC. Gosh, there's some people that are a little bit disgruntled. And what's that going to do? What I don't know that the conference realignment musical chairs is ever going to be over. And it certainly doesn't look like it is just yet. So you got that. Is this the night that the Thunder franchise wins the NBA title?
That's always the hope. Never know.
Is this the night? Is this the night? And is this guy? There's not. I'm there. You can't find anybody to even play devil's advocate that Victor Wembanyama isn't going to be a transcendent superstar. Doesn't that seem odd? That you can't find one guy naysaying on this deal?
It is. That's a lot of pressure on that guy.
I mean, it's LeBron-esque.
A little bit.
It's LeBron-esque as far as when LeBron was coming out of St. Vincent St. Mary High School. And now that this guy, here he comes. It's very, very interesting. And maybe that's because he is the next chosen one. It's been, here we are about a quarter of a century later. Actually, a little bit longer since, no, not quite that long. I'm sorry. I can't do math this morning. 20 years ago when LeBron was drafted.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
It's very interesting
Still.
that you can't find anybody that really has a negative thing to say about Victor Wembanyama. Also,
I mean, there's a lot of I know we'll jump into it just off the top of my head. There's a lot of, maybe not at this level, but a lot of high praise for, say, Greg Oden. Out of not as high as a level as this, but there was a lot of expectations for that guy. So much to the point Portland passed on Kevin Durant to get this guy, and we know what happened there. I'm not calling Wembanyama a bust. I'm not doing that.
well, I don't know that Greg Oden was a bust except for injury.
Right.
Right.
That's who knows, right?
But guess what else? Big guy, frail.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think it's just. I think it's
Zion. I mean, Zion is kind of teetering that.
How about that draft?
Yeah.
You had Zion. You remember who the number 2 pick was?
I do not. I'm horrible at that. I don't remember Well, it's without looking it up.
John Morant.
Oh, my goodness.
All of a sudden, R.J. Barrett's looking pretty good there in New York.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so we got all kinds of stuff coming up on the show today. I saw an interesting. Are you an Almost Sunny in Philadelphia guy?
Yeah, I'd never.
Never
I
got
like
in?
Charlie Day. I think that guy is hilarious, but I never really got in that show.
All right, so there was an episode where they were kind of sending things back and forth at the table, like bottles of wine and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I read the story this morning where Justin Thomas, which, by the way, when I went for lunch yesterday, Wyatt was watching. What's the Netflix show with the golf?
Like Full Swing or something like that. What is that called?
Yeah. Well, he was watching an episode of that.
Oh, really?
And
is it safe for kids?
Probably not. But it was detailing kind of the PGA up at
Full Swing. That's what.
Yeah, Full Swing.
Yeah.
It was detailing the PGA championship at Southern Hills last year.
Tulsa? Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Which I thought was interesting. I mean, with Justin Thomas. So anyway, so I say this story with Justin Thomas and Sidney Crosby engaging in kind of a one-upsman battle at a restaurant.
Sidney Crosby, the hockey player.
Yes, and Justin Thomas and Smiley. Here's the deal. Smiley Kaufman had Justin Thomas. He just put out a podcast yesterday. And Justin Thomas, it's his boy. They're buds. And so that was his first guest. And they talked about all kinds of stuff. And then JT went into this story about being out and seeing Sidney Crosby and a bunch of other Penguins. And then it got in. It's hilarious what ends up happening. So we'll tell you that story as well. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. That's 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things. If you have a topic that you want to talk about, this is the perfect day to do it. You know, we're kind of in between things. Stars won last night, so they're moving on to the NBA or the NHL Western Conference Finals. But outside of that, you know, the basketball's gearing back up. We've got some different things with the realignment and people getting mad in the state of Florida, especially over the money they're making. So if you got something, fire it in there. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We'll talk about anything. If you're going to be outside the listening area, there are a couple ways to stay in touch with the show. Log on to kadsam.com. You can download the app. The app's got it all. Radio, Penny News, Big L and Paragon TV, of course, Skinny on Sports podcast. If you missed the show entirely, you can find that anywhere where podcasts are dropped. How are you this morning, Jared?
I'm good. I just thought of a topic.
Okay.
We don't have time for it today because it takes some thought that we need to put into it. But didn't we do this at the end of the sports year where we kind of gave us our top 5 or so moments of the academics,
like high school
sports year?
Yes, that's a good idea.
We need to think about doing that maybe.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, let's do that tomorrow because you're right.
Like a top 5. I think 10 would be too convoluted, or too watered down. But like a top 5, we'll just kind of go back and forth. I think we need to do that.
Let's do that. How was your evening?
That was good. What did I do? Oh, my kid graduated kindergarten.
That's right.
It was hit and miss there for a little bit, but we got her through. She does not like doing homework or studying at home. But from what I understand, she loves doing it at school. So we'll have to get past that. But she did great. I'm all kidding aside. Very proud of her. My Jamesy got through kindergarten. Now she's a first grader.
All right.
So that's what we did. And Katie, we're doing some summer basketball, so she had a basketball practice last night.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So that was kind of, she was like, man, Dad, whew. I'm not used to. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not out of shape. Not
in basketball shape,
Come
Dad.
Come on. So this is going to make you faster on the base path, I guess.
Too much softball already. I'm already out of shape.
Now, she wanted to do it, so we were approached and asked, and I said, well, let me ask him. So I said, hey, do you want to do this? Should do some softball and basketball this summer? She goes, yeah, I want to do that. So
all right.
We had a practice last night.
Okay, so I want to get this. Okay, so Justin Thomas,
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear
with
this.
the PGA coming up this week. Last year everybody was so excited around here because the PGA was in Tulsa at Southern Hills. Did you attend? You ended up not attending.
I bought tickets, but I wound up not going because of a conflict. But I was glad that I was able to get the tickets to a worthy cause. Anywho, but no, I did not go.
I went. It was awesome.
I bet. And by the way, it sounded like after talking with some coworkers here that LIV thing was awesome too.
Sounds like they're coming back.
Sounds like
for 2 years for sure.
That might be a thing need to partake in.
Yeah, that'd be it did sound. Everybody I've talked to that's gone said it was awesome, and some are younger, hipper, some are older, stodgier. It didn't matter. They all liked it.
You hadn't heard any stuffy.
Nah,
that's not golf. It's a gentleman's game.
Not from anybody that was there.
They're wearing shorts, for crying out loud.
Which is the coolest part of it.
Why is there a mechanical bull on the 18th?
Yeah, that's. I mean, Shooter McGavin's rolling over in his grave, right?
Damn it, people! This is golf.
This is golf, for God's sake.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad that they are committed to Oklahoma at least for a couple more years.
No doubt.
I've heard rumors of OKC.
Yeah, I wonder
because I don't know how substantial that is. It came from Huntman on Sunday, but I don't think it matters. Tulsa, Oklahoma City people will show up. I think there's a positive response for it.
It's just a little bit closer for us if it's in Oklahoma City.
I'd take that.
All right, so
nice new clubhouse out here they can enjoy.
Come on down.
Just throwing that out there.
Come on down, LIV Golf. Can you imagine what they'd shoot on our golf course? Holy Moses.
That would be kind of cool.
59 watch would be on before it ever started. Boy, that'd be cool, though.
That would be cool.
All right, so JT.
Yeah.
The story goes back to like the week after he misses the Masters. Okay. And so you know good and well that JT wasn't feeling great about what had happened at Augusta. So he's out with Smiley, Kaufman, and a couple other buddies, wives. I guess maybe not. Yeah, I think there was. Anyways. At the same time, so apparently Sidney Crosby has a tradition to where when the season is over, Crosby will take some of his teammates on a golf trip after the season. Well, it just so happened that the Penguins missed the playoffs this year, and so that trip was earlier than normal, which happened to be the same week after Justin Thomas missed the Masters. So they end up in the same restaurant. Thomas notices Crosby and his buddies. And so Crosby sends over a bottle of wine
to
Thomas's table.
Cool. It's very nice.
And so Justin Thomas decided he was going to, start a little back and forth. So he tells the waiter he wants to order one Caesar salad for all 8 of the guys around there, but he wants him to split it into 8 portions. So the waiter says, "That's great. We can just put a piece of lettuce and a crouton on each on each plate." So that happens, and then Justin Thomas said, "Thankfully, the waiter got it, and so he's in. Yep. He's all in. Let's do it." So the salads get there. He says, "Next thing you know, back at the Justin Thomas table, a few minutes later, arrive 7 shot glasses with salt and lime, and the liquid in them is a little bit warm." So they're thinking. Thomas and his guy, Justin Thomas, said, we're thinking, oh, my gosh, what kind of bottom shelf tequila is this? And then they realize as they do it, it was actually warm salt water and not tequila at all. So at that point, JT then sends 8 glasses, and he specified it had to be 2% milk to their table. So anyhow.
How long does this go on?
It went back. That's kind of the back and forth. Thomas tried to pick up the tab for the Penguins. They said, as a thank you for the wine, they refused, Sidney Crosby and the Penguins guys refused with a note that said something to the effect of, you don't need to pay for our meal because you're probably still hurting from missing the Masters cut.
Ouch.
So here's the deal. They end up back together. Sidney Crosby invites them back to the house that he has rented. And this is where the story gets the best. So they engage in a game of Flip Cup. You know Flip Cup?
Oh, sure.
If you don't know Flip Cup, you start out with I would call it like an Eskimo Joe's Cup. Everybody knows what those are, right? You put beer in it, you down the beer, then you have to flip the cup and have it land on its top.
Right.
And then the next, go down the line and the last person. So I guess JT and
sometimes called boat racing.
Yeah, boat race. That's right. And so JT and Sydney are on the same team in the Flip Cup game, and Smiley Kaufman is on the other side. And so it starts out, the game starts out, and Smiley's team is just annihilating them. And so Kaufman is the last one. He's the hammer position to win the game. And there's like 3 guys, a total of 10, and so there's like 3 guys left on the Crosby JT team just to get to the end. Smiley waits because he's right across from Sidney Crosby. He and Sidney are the last 2. So Smiley Kaufman waits and waits and waits until Sidney gets his turn, and then Smiley crushes it, and the first try wins the game.
That's good. Kind of like a walk-off homer.
But and he said, I think I peaked in my life, in that moment in my life, right there. It was peak me. I just say that's one of those kind of peeks into the real life of these guys.
Yeah.
That didn't know each other. They didn't know each other going in.
Well,
Justin Thomas just recognized, oh, that's Sidney Crosby, and decided to kind of mess with him. And next thing you know, now they're probably buddies and hanging out and playing Flip Cup with Smiley Kaufman.
That is cool. That's a cool story.
That was an interesting story with the PGA on tap. Thought that was cool. All right. I found kind of a synopsis of this ACC thing.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll tell you what we're going to do.
I heard like half that with the guys yesterday afternoon getting in the truck. So I didn't get the full context of what was going on here. But it sounds like
there's 7 schools that are mad.
A lot of schools are mad in the ACC, and the ACC is saying, sorry about your luck, but you signed a contract.
That's what it sounds like. So
yeah, we'll break it down.
Break it down, pick through it, and all it tells me, you know what it tells me? Because there was another little tidbit out there yesterday that I saw that Pac-12 is close to adding somebody.
Oh, really?
See if you can guess who it is.
But
the Big 12 is poised to be in a really good spot. We'll be back.
Paul Jones Drug offers a free service that makes taking your daily medications safe and easy. It's called convenience packaging, meaning they can combine all your daily medications and put them in sealed, separate daily packages. This process replaces you from having to fill your daily medication dispenser. And as always, Paul Jones Drug prepares individual blister packaging for long-term care patients. With their drive-through window, curbside service, and free local delivery, it's just more reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street, Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. It's a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday. Thank you to Paul Jones Drug. It's Rodney Skinner in the gang down there at 809 North Main. Paul Jones Drug is care you can trust. They are the oldest compounding pharmacy in Elk City. Obviously, that means they are the most experienced compounding pharmacy in Elk City. Free local delivery. You can drive through and pick your stuff up. Curbside testing and vaccinations. The blister packs, those long-term care unit packaging. Blister packs is what they call them. They've got it all down there. Go give them a visit. 809 North Main. It's Paul Jones Drug, or call 225-2121. All right, Jared. Somebody asked me yesterday, I think it's actually Tyler Harrison.
Saw him last night.
Yeah, he asked me, he said, man, man, this is kind of the downtime, right? Does it get harder to plan for the show? And I said, you know what? You would think that, but there's been one topic that's constantly kept us going in these kind of dog days of summer months recently. And he goes, yeah, what? It's a conference realignment. Now think about what's happened. 2 summers ago, OU, Texas. Last summer, USC, UCLA. So what's coming this summer?
And by the way, if we can get through COVID,
yeah, well,
we can get through anything.
And so, sure enough, yesterday afternoon, I was kind of like you, in and out, and didn't get the full story. But I did hear him say there's 7 ACC schools that are disgruntled. And I'm sure you can pick them out. The major state universities are going to be the ones, the Florida States, the Clemson, Virginia. You know.
Right.
You could pick those out.
The moneymakers.
The smaller private ones,
the
maybe
winners.
not so much.
Yeah.
And so Florida State is kind of the one spearheading this deal. And they're to the point where the problem for Florida State and the problem for the ACC is they took the ESPN money. With the ACC, there is an ACC network through ESPN. It's not nearly as abundant as SEC, but like on Hulu, I can find it. I've seen a couple of documentaries they've done, like 30 for 30 style. One on Charlie Ward. Yeah. One on Georgia Tech football from 1990. There's been some stuff there, but it's not nearly as visible. Not even in my mind, nearly as forward and pushed by ESPN as the SEC network.
Right.
And so, but they took the money, but by taking the money when they did a few years back, they also agreed to a long-term contract. I believe they signed this deal in 2019, and it was 17 years long because it goes through 2030. I know it goes through 2036. It was they either signed it in 17 and it was 19 years long, or they signed it in 19 and it was 17 years long. So now here they're seeing ESPN renegotiate the SEC deal, and basically schools like Florida State and Miami and Clemson are going to make half the money as Alabama and Michigan and eventually Oklahoma and Texas and everybody, Mm-hmm. And so the problem for Florida State is not only they're falling behind the big boys, but they're also falling behind the little guys in their own state. Namely mentioned here is UCF. UCF, who is now in the Big 12, who is going to earn upwards somewhere between $40 and $50 million. And that is chapping the hide of Florida State Athletic Director Mike Alford. But the problem is, what are you going to do about it? They will go – Florida State, you know who they sound like?
Who's that?
OU, Nebraska, and Texas. Here's his quote. I make no bones about it that we're the top brand in the conference. And we look at how they measure media contracts with households, viewership, and championships. We're driving that viewership for our conference at a high rate, meaning pay us more money than the other guys.
Oh, what's he supposed to say?
Bold strategy, Cotton.
He's the athletic director, but yeah. I mean, what's he going to say?
So at this moment,
he's championing his school. I get that, but the the whole contract thing, I'm like, dude, why did you sign that way back?
Over $100 million to leave. Any school that wants to leave and get out of their grant of rights agreement, it's over $100 million to leave. Now, here's the thing: we've also heard about that from OU in Texas, that it was $80 million apiece. Unless you waited till 2025. Obviously, there has been negotiations on that front that have taken place and agreed to because OU and Texas are leaving, starting a year early, essentially 2 years early, really, because I think 26 would have been when they can actually start.
I believe that was right.
So 2 years early. And so there's obviously some wiggle room, but here's the problem: if there's 7 of these schools attached to this, they don't all bring equal value. I mean, I think you can make the argument that Oklahoma and Texas bring the same thing to the table. Essentially.
Yeah.
Both mega brands in the college football world. there's no one pulling the other along.
No, I think they both feel they can go
Anywhere they
they're
want to.
self-sustaining. They don't need each other. Right.
But they're viewed the same. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I mean,
it's a brand you recognize.
That's
absolutely.
yeah, and it adds value. Mm-hmm. When you start getting into 7 of these schools, and if Virginia or in Miami, I mean, as much as success as Miami has had, I mean, are they really as big a name as Florida State? I would say no. Are they as big a name as Clemson? I would say not consistently. So, but it gets harder. What I'm saying is, it gets way harder with 7 for just the SEC to go, okay, we'll fold you in, now it's 20 or 23 or whatever it would be, right? So that's where I think the Big 12 is in a great spot. Because not only have they renegotiated their deal right now to allow for more revenue coming in with these newer teams, they also will get to take their product back to the market before the ACC contract is ever over.
Yeah.
So they get to renegotiate for the 2030, 2031 season. So they're only bound by this one for like 7 or 8 years. And then they're back ahead of the ACC again. The Pac-12, it's fairly obvious at this moment that as far as network TV, there's not a big appetite for the Pac-12 from a television rights standpoint, or they'd have already got their deal done.
Right.
But the problem is, I don't think anybody trusts what the Pac-12 is going to be. It's one thing to lose USC and UCLA. It's a whole nother to have the fear of losing Oregon and Washington. And then, oh, by the way, those go to the Big Ten. Then, of course, the 4 that have long been rumored to come to the Big 12 with Colorado and Utah and both Arizona schools. Mm-hmm. Well, then who's going to pay the California coast anything?
Yeah.
To peddle their college football out there? Well, nobody's going to. And that is
also for the fact that most of their games start around 9:30, and
yeah.
eyeballs aren't on TV.
Well, nobody's going to want to. I mean, no offense to Stanford and Cal, and even they may be going to the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm not staying up to watch those teams play each other.
I mean, Oregon State, Washington State blowing your skirt up? No. And so, as much as anything to me, just when we've seen all this stuff, I mean, there's been so many balls in the air over the past decade. All the way back to, the 4 leaving the Big 12, really, with Colorado and Missouri and Nebraska and A&M. The one constant in a lot of this stuff has been those TV deals. And that's kind of been where you could read the tea leaves, right? And so with the Pac-12 still not making a deal and the Big 12 jumping in front of them and getting a deal done, that tells me that one of those conferences is open for addition and the other one is ripe for subtraction.
Yeah.
Having said that, I did see that the Pac-12 is just about to add somebody.
Did it name who?
Yeah, it did.
Who?
Guess.
I will San Diego State.
That's exactly who it is.
Okay, I'm thinking they want to go down south to
San Diego State. But once again, where is that at? The California coast.
Exactly, which is weird for me. I'm like, you got the coast.
They play but nobody else wants to go.
Yeah.
I mean, Boise eventually you'd think.
I was wondering if Boise would be more attractive because of the winning. They've won a lot more lately. Hell, the last 20 years they've won a lot more games than San Diego State.
They've won a lot more games than just about anybody.
Anybody. I'd love to see them in a conference where they go up against USC and Oregon on a yearly basis.
Problem is they're gone, and as much as
that's true, I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, and as much as we look at the say OU and OSU schedule coming up this year, and think, man, that's watered down. Okay, from there take out each other, and take out TCU, and take out Tech. Which is what could happen here in the Pac-12. Well, nobody's watching. I mean, no offense to Iowa State and Kansas State, but who cares? And so that's where I think, and it sure seems like Brett Yormark, the new Pac-12 commissioner, has been incredibly aggressive.
Well,
at least in his rhetoric.
Yeah, he has to be. There's a great analogy yesterday with the guys in the afternoon about how, remember when, 10 years ago, when the four left the Big 12, and we thought, man, Big 12's done. And now it's just like in Pac-12, we thought a lot of schools were going to go head west to the Pac-12, OU, Texas included, OSU too. And now it's kind of like flipped. Like that perception's flipped. Like, man, the Big 12 looks like a strong conference right now, even in spite of them losing OU and Texas. And the Pac-12 just kind of fluttering right now. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I mean, think about just a decade ago and how, shaky ground when there was 6 schools going to the Pac-12.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
and it just,
you have that, and then even when OU Texas, there's been the Big 12. It's almost like a cat that has multiple lives. But the one thing they have, and you mentioned it earlier, the one thing they have is geography and the ability to have games when people are watching with the time zones that they control. The Pac-12 does not have that luxury. And so, and if you don't have the glitz and the glamour of USC or Oregon at the top, no offense to Utah, they've been a fantastic program. Who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. About Utah football at the end of the day, as far as being the head of the snake. They can't carry a conference. They can't.
Yeah.
Now, they're an awesome complimentary piece, but they're not. They can't carry it. I don't think Washington could either. Oregon, maybe, because Oregon's kind of the new flavor. Maybe, maybe not. With that Nike money behind them, they're just a different animal than about anybody else out there, outside of USC. I'm not even sure UCLA could carry it. I don't know that UCLA football has enough cachet around the country. USC, absolutely. There's zero doubt that can happen.
Sometimes UCLA football reminds me of the Oakland A's. Good or bad, the fans don't show up.
Yeah, and it's the Rose Bowl's a long ways from
campus
and all that.
I was blown away that one time I went, and just like, man, the amount of OU fans there equaled to, if not outnumbered, the UCLA fans.
Well, and here's the truth. If USC isn't great, then nobody shows up there either.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And, Oregon, they got a full stadium. It's 53,000 people in it. There's not – it's a different animal out there. It's the passion for it isn't there like it is in other places.
Back to the focus on the ACC and the TV deal that they have, and them, ESPN not find them as attractive or others not find them as attractive. Can we blame – wild statement here, but can we blame Clemson for that? Because everyone looks at the ACC year in, year out. What do we say? At least in the past, since Sweeney's been there, it's Clemson and everybody else.
No, we don't blame Clemson. We blame Miami and Florida State.
That's the other side of the question.
Yes.
Those who cannot compete with Clemson or Clemson because they're just so dang dominant. Like, just another ACC game. Guess who's going to win that conference? Clemson.
No, you blame Florida State and Miami at the very top of that list for not being worth a damn.
So that's my argument, or that's my statement, is go back to the athletic director and go, get your team better.
Do better.
Get your program better. There's a reason why you're not getting a good TV deals, because you can't beat that team in orange.
But there's still people that watch them.
Yeah.
Even though they're not, the Bobby Bowden Seminoles or the Jimmy Johnson Hurricanes, there's still people that are intrigued by those names that watch. And so at that, it really doesn't even matter in the TV deal game how good they are anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about what they are and who they've been in the past, in the allure of the U, or the the tomahawk chop. It's just there's something about it that, and I think, to me, college football is better when they're good. When you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When you see that garnet and gold, or you see the U, and going through the smoke, and part of it is because they're teams that you like to dislike. Especially Miami. When you think about the history of Miami in this state.
You're absolutely right about Miami. People like to think that they're a blue blood and put them up there. Since joining the ACC, do you know how many conference titles they've won?
Zero. Have they played for one?
Played for one.
Yeah. But
they won 9 Big East titles before joining the ACC.
Yeah.
I can't remember when they joined the ACC, whenever that was, years ago.
They were still in the Big East, like early 2000s. No, I mean that's.
They come at you in sparks.
They are
flashes.
absolutely the hardest. If you want to have the blue blood conversation, or the tiers where they rank, they're the hardest. They're the hardest one to rank, because when it's good, it is top of the sport good. When it's bad, it's awful. Nobody else is really like that. If there's not some sort of probation or something, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They just kind of, and that goes hand in hand with them a little bit too. But from 1983 to 2001, they win 5 national championships, 6 national championships. 5, 83, 87, 89, 91, 2001.
I'm looking.
Is it 5?
I'm looking.
83, 87, 89, maybe 92, 91 or 92, 91, and then 2001.
I can't find their list of titles.
It's 5, I believe. 5 AP titles in 18 years. I mean, that's Nick Saban.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I mean, that's what. And if you just go in that 8-year span, from 83 to 91, they won half of them. But then it goes down. It goes way down. And that's kind of where it is right now. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, because, you already had, Maryland and, golly, my mind just went completely blank. Who else is now in the Big Ten?
Rutgers and Maryland, and
that was in the ACC.
That was in the ACC? I don't know.
Maryland. I guess they pulled in Rutgers. I was thinking there was somebody else.
Was Rutgers an ACC team?
Maybe so. Were they ever ACC?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Looking it up.
Maybe they were.
I don't know if they went from Big East. No, they were Big East.
Okay. So just Maryland.
In 2012. When did they jump? I think it was just Maryland. I really
just
do.
Maryland.
I think it was just Maryland.
But it's not hard to imagine, a North Carolina and a Virginia, because of the academic standing that they want to hold themselves in that regard. You could easily see them being Big Ten teams.
That's why we got confused here. They were in the ACC.
Okay. Just for 1 year, yeah, okay.
2013.
So I knew it couldn't be very long.
Because the Big East broke up, and as a football conference, they broke up, and they went to the ACC for 1 year, and then
jumped to the Big
Ten.
And see, I was thinking there was 2, but Rutgers didn't make sense. But that's why you don't.
I never
associate
Rutgers
them
with ACC. It doesn't make sense.
So at the end of the day, I mean, does Florida State, Clemson, whoever get their way here, and they end up, the ACC robs Peter to pay Paul within its own conference? Or is this something that's going to go down the same track as we've seen some of these other big names? to where the money available in the SEC and the Big Ten is too much, and therefore, or do they see what's happened TV, like length TV deal wise, and realize, okay, if we want to make a splash money wise, the best bet is the Big 12. Because they are the next one. Not only have they just done a deal, but they're going to go to market again. What value do we, can our value and our brand lift the Big 12 up even closer into the kind of where the Big 10 and the SEC are? Maybe not all the way, but right now there's a $35 million gap between Florida State and Alabama. Do they look around and say, okay, Clemson, you, us, Miami, maybe some of those Pac-12 teams. Now, if we can get, Colorado, the 7 or 8 of us merge into the Big 12 in the middle of the country. Now what do we have? We have every single time slot covered.
Oh, yeah.
Stretching all across the country.
It's like the Big Ten.
Yeah, kind of using that model.
How do they get out of their deals? How do they get out of these contracts?
I mean, it's obvious negotiations.
Negotiate down to the lowest fee possible and pay it and get out.
Or it's clear to me that OU and Texas and ESPN and Fox and the conference, the Big 12 conference, have all been in these negotiations, because all of a sudden now you see some of these games, out of conference games that Texas had, namely with Michigan, it's changing. Like where the games are is changing, because that means Fox is going to have them. You know what I'm saying? First. And I think it all goes hand in hand. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that's even feasible. I don't know if the money, where's the money coming from?
I don't know.
Who's paying it?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't either. And it almost feels like, who knows what 2036 college football is going to be. I mean, it's impossible to even predict that, right? But at least right now, it almost feels like those ACC teams thought they had a seat at the table first, and now they're running around and the music stopped and the chairs are full.
Yep.
At least for right now, until those numbers can come way down from 100 million. And as we say that this afternoon, there could be,
that's how fluid this is.
Breaking news:
Yeah.
Clemson, Florida State, Miami joining the SEC, and who knows?
In the grand scheme of things, this is just another sign of huge power conferences that we're hurling towards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's over.
No, it's not. It's just another step towards that.
And there's always that other guy out there, Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Jones Drug is Elk City's most experienced compounding pharmacy, meaning they can custom make your prescription medications to your doctor's specifications, safely and effectively providing you with exactly what you need. And for your convenience, Paul Jones Drug has a drive-through pickup window as well as curbside service for testing and vaccinations, and offers free local delivery. Just a couple reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
We've come too far! There's too much to lose! We've got to keep our composure!
Welcome back, Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the sports animal. All kinds of things still going on. NCAA Regional Golf Tournament at Jimmy Austin on the men's side. Second round just underway. Oklahoma leads by 4 shots over Bama and Texas Tech. Colorado 5 back. Duke 7 back, and then North Florida cleared to 13 back. That's an important spot, the 6th spot, because the top 5 teams will qualify. So at least right now, Oklahoma 13 shots ahead of that position. Oklahoma State is at Las Vegas at that regional. Let's see, Cowboys tied 5th Good grief. 12 under, but tied 5th. With
who's lead? Oh, what's the score for the leader?
Arizona State 26 under. Stanford 20 under, Virginia 19, East Tennessee State 16, and then the Cowboys, Davidson College, UNC Greensboro, all at 12 under. That's through round 1. They haven't teed off yet. Out there in Las Vegas. What was the best score individually? 10 under 62. Hello. Preston Summerhays. A 10 under 62. Whew. Scores mega low there. Arkansas, my gosh, they're 34 under. Anyway, we'll keep tabs on that through the next couple of days. Final round will be tomorrow. Top 5 teams, as I mentioned, will advance. So Sooners looking good so far. Cowboys with some work to do today to try to move up that leaderboard and feel a little bit more comfortable about making that national tournament on the golf side. Okay, Jared, tonight, where will you be? Will you be plastered in front of a television waiting to see the results of the NBA draft lottery?
To be honest with you, I'll probably have it on my phone just scrolling and looking for updates. Just based on the percentages of the Thunder's chances, I think it'll land where we think they'll land. But who knows? I mean, it takes how long to watch it?
Not very long.
Not very long.
Well, and here's the deal.
30 minutes maybe.
Well,
and
if you're
special.
If you're a Thunder fan,
they drag it on though. I remember last year they drug it on. I'm like, just do
as you
it.
get to the end. As you get to the end.
Yeah.
You'll be more than happy to hang in there for the whole 30 minutes after the first 5. Because once they start rattling off the picks, it's only going to take 3 envelopes to open for you to know something crazy happened, or yeah, there they are. Because the Thunder have the 12th in the order, and it only goes to 14 in the lottery. So if you hear New Orleans, Toronto, and then no Oklahoma City, that's when you'll be more than happy to watch the rest of that show.
That's true.
Just to figure out.
That's true.
Because here's the truth. Do you have any idea what the percentage is that Oklahoma City could get the number 1 overall pick?
It's like it has to be 0.1 or something. Or what is it?
It is higher than that.
It is higher than that. Is it a 0 point something?
It is not.
1.5.
1.7.
1.7.
1.7% chance that Oklahoma City gets the number 1 overall pick.
Which I've heard when was it? I can't remember. I want to give credit where credit's due. Someone on this station said it, but the last time percentages were kind of around there that it wound up being the number 1 pick was Chicago, and they got Derrick Rose in that draft.
Okay.
So it is possible, and I guess that's recent.
See, it seemed like Cleveland moved way up one time.
The 2014 Cavs from the text line.
Let's say it seemed like they moved way up.
Yeah.
Maybe Kyrie. Was it Kyrie or when they blew the Anthony Bennett pick?
I remember that.
So that's a long one.
The Cavs.
A long shot.
Is this the Today in Ag show?
Oh, shot at Jared. Jared on Jared.
On the
fire.
text line.
You know what their chances are to get about a top 4 pick? Which I think everyone would be happy with.
5.5.
8.
8%. A solid 8%.
8% exactly. They lost a 0.5% in losing that coin toss to Chicago. Speaking of the Bulls, which is not even their pick, it's Orlando's pick.
Well, I'll be a little interested. It's just me and the girls tonight, and they want to watch a movie.
Yeah, the movie is called Will Daddy's Team Get the Number 1 Pick?
It's
a short
start
one.
The movie,
it could be a very short pick.
Start the movie. I might have the iPad in my lap or something.
So we shall see. I mean, it could be, for somebody, it could be a franchise-defining moment.
Could be.
I mean, when you look down the list.
According to everybody.
Yeah.
It is.
There's not a soul that doesn't think Victor Wembanyama is going to be anything but a super-duper star in this league. When you look down the list of teams in this lottery, Which one do you think, golly, if they got him, look out?
I'm looking for the list. I'm sorry.
Go to tankathon.com.
Oh, look at you. Tankathon.
That's where I'm getting all these lovely percentages.
This is awesome. I remember this handy-dandy website last year.
Yes.
Who would go nuts with Wembanyama? San Antonio. Maybe Portland, but I don't think they'll get up that high. I think San Antonio. Just based on the franchise history, how successful they can be, and they're positioning themselves to get a possible top 1 pick.
It took me 3 sim lotteries
to get OKC up there?
To get OKC to 2.
To 2.
Yeah. For me, I think it's Orlando.
Oh, yeah. Why did I not think of that?
Because Orlando's got 2 lottery picks in this draft. They're right there. They've got that Bulls pick right ahead of the Thunder. But Orlando, man, we think about the young guys they've got already with Wagner and obviously the Rookie of the Year with Banchero from last year. You throw Victor Wembanyama in there, look out. You know, every time I see this site, he gets taller.
I know.
Now he's 7'5".
I think they're every time I see a picture of him, he looks taller, but I think that they're just putting shorter and shorter people next to him.
Yeah, this has the Thunder. When I went up 10 spots to number 2 on the 3rd try.
I keep clicking.
That's better.
Staying at 12.
I was going to say that's better than 8% odds.
I keep clicking. They're not moving. Wait a minute. Oh, I got the 2.
That's what I got.
I got the
you
2.
Got Scoot Henderson. Yeah, question on the text line about
there might be an audible roar if
listen,
OKC gets up to
if they open up 14, 13, and 12 and OKC's not in there, it will be an audible roar because at that point they are in the top 4 somewhere.
Crazy.
That's what I'm saying. You'll know fast. I mean, the kind of the womp would be if they went. If would be
14.
Which the chances of this happening are I don't even know if they're possible, honestly, for both the Pelicans and the Raptors to move up in the top 4. And that would be Oklahoma City at 14. But, you know, the stakes aren't nearly as high this year as far as the Thunder's odds and the disappointment of moving down as they were last year. And, of course, last year they stayed solid right there at number 2. And we'll see what Chet is, right? But
we all like a solid number 2.
I don't know if anyhow.
What?
Nope. You're not going to.
Right?
You're not going to talk me into going there.
You okay?
The show may need to cut short though.
I'm just saying. I feel relieved when I have a solid number 2 pick in the lottery draft. What are you doing? Are you okay?
Hang on a minute.
Are you still simming over there?
No, Dakota's given us the largest leap. Was the Orlando Magic. They had a 1.52% chance back in 1993 when they ended up with Penny.
There's a chance.
Oklahoma City's got a 1.7%.
There's a chance.
So worst odds have happened. 30-year anniversary of that happening. Hello. Am I getting anybody fired up yet?
I mean, I'm interested.
We can get into this a lot
I
later.
like numbers. You know me. I believe in numbers, and just with that chance, that percentage chance of getting
it's not great.
That high, it's not great. So my interest level isn't that great. My interest level is.
Who are they going to pick at 12?
I mean, my phone will buzz when when their name is drawn. You'll see it go. Okay, oh, they're right there. All right.
Just judging by what's in the league right now, and the best players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If I were the Thunder, I would look heavily at Kentucky. Even though you may not think there's a good enough guy there, think about the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Damn near every one of them came from Kentucky.
Presty loves Kentucky. Apparently, SGA was always on his radar.
Mm-hmm.
Always on his radar. And he saw a golden opportunity when
I wish
Paul George said.
I wish Tyrese Maxey would have been on his radar instead of Poku.
Yeah, wow.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
What will you do if your phone buzzes and it says the Oklahoma City Thunder have the first pick.
You got a sound effect for a beer opening?
Looking through here, down in the second round, Jaime Jaquez, UCLA. You know him. You've seen him play in the tournament.
Dude with the hair?
Yeah, I think so. Not the giant. That was Tiger Campbell with the giant hair. And then Julian Phillips, freshman from Tennessee. I know him.
You're going to name all these names, and then draft night comes. Oklahoma City picks, and we'll go, who? And then we'll go, well, in Sam we trust.
Yeah, Tristan Vukcevic looks like a guy he would draft, just a name. You know, I'm looking down here. The very last pick of this draft is a name that 3 or 4 years ago nobody in their right mind thought would be the 60th pick. Emily Bates. He was one of those guys that people were getting ready to be Wembanyama. And now here he is, the last pick of the second round. Yeah, he did take Cole Aldridge. Not his finest moment. I mean, he did play in the league for like 10 years. I mean, that's why the NBA draft is so much different than the NFL draft, right? Because outside, sometimes there's like 3 guys in the whole damn thing that end up being good players. You know what I mean? It's just so much different. Whereas if you miss on first rounders in the NFL, you do that about 3 years in a row and your team is awful. Heck, a bunch of people miss on, I think last year it was 2 years ago when the Giddey pick. If you went back and looked at the history of the 6th pick, it was like Dame Lillard and a bunch of dudes you've never heard of. And that's like number 6 of the draft. So it's a little bit, it's totally different. But, oh, yeah, there you go. That's Scott just sent us the picture he'll be from Wedding Crashers if the Thunder get the number 1 overall pick. Well, we can talk about it tomorrow. We shall know. Would it disappoint you just a little bit, Jared, if they did get the number 1 overall pick and then there's just like zero suspense about who they might take? Like there's not even a show to do about that.
Well, it's kind of like OU softball in the selection show the other night. Who's going to be the overall number 1 seed? No, zero suspense, and that doesn't disappoint me.
Good luck, Thunder. Everybody have a great night.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.